Hey, good day and energy to everybody. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about being lost and how it's like when you are lost, and I've been lost out in the woods before, and it's a pretty scary feeling. I'm not gonna lie. It was I've spent some decent time out backpacking on my own and stuff, and I feel like I'm pretty familiar with it, but one day I was just hiking, going over one hill over another, kind of trying to keep, perspective of where my spot was in the river. And anyway, I got mixed up, I got turned around, I got lost. And it's like, there's a point, where you realize you're lost. Like you're walking around, you're like, okay, I feel like maybe I should have gotten to where somewhere by now that I can relate to, or something that feels like a good stopping point or a progression spot or some type of a point in my journey that I can realize where I'm at. And you're not finding that, and it's like you keep looking for it, and then you kind of start to panic. And anyway, I'm just kind of reliving the moment in my mind right now and sharing with you guys. But what I want to talk about is, when you are lost, when you do come to that acknowledgement that, I've lost my way, I don't know which way to go, I don't know how to get home, you have some options, what do you do? Um, and I'm talking about this because I think in some ways, in a lot of ways, I feel like humanity's lost, and myself too, in my life. In some ways, some ways I'm lost. Not always. I feel like I've got some good, direction. I can see the path in certain areas, but it's still there's still some obscurity. So, but anyway, back to being lost. The point that I'm trying to make is I can see you have a couple options. You can either just continue trying and hoping that you're going to find your way and just continue walking with whatever sense, leads you, wherever your sense leads you, and just pretty much hope that you find your way without, really knowing what you're doing, because you really have no clue. You don't know if you should go right or left or straight or backward or just stop and wait for, something to happen. I mean, you have no clue. You're just, hoping that whatever you do, you find your way. Um, and in some senses, I kind of think humanity's, doing that, especially these elites that have just spent so much time, so many generations of, just doing the same crazy, evil, sick stuff over and over and over again. It's like they don't know any better. They don't even know how, I mean, there's a point where you can become so lost in the delusion and in the maze that you really don't know how to get out. Like you could really need like a rescue on some real stuff. And that rescue comes from, I think, people like us who have come here and incarnated into this plane, you know, primarily for the purpose of bringing back, a good, righteous order to the way of things here on earth. Because that's where we've wandered away from. I think that's why we're lost, is because we have lost our good, righteous connection to ourselves, to God, to source, to love, to our higher selves. We've allowed this sinful society to flourish, and we've fed it up, one way or another. At least I've had a part in my, support and perpetuation of this satanic society. And that's just the truth that, it can be a hard pill to swallow, but it can also be a pill that once you swallow it, things make a lot more sense, and then you can also see why things are so messed up. And it's like, okay, well, now that we realize we've been doing all these things and we've been tricked and something appears this way, but it's really not that way. And there's this, this force that's behind all this that's, actively trying to get us trapped and sick and weak and poisoned. Then, it's kind of a common sense thing. We just need to, flip the script on it and stop lying, stop sinning so much, stop destroying ourselves, stop looking for the easy way out, stop pointing the finger at people. I mean, this is all just stuff that's, in the Bible that we've lost touch with. You know, it's so we're losing touch with love. You know, we've lost our way from love, and we need to find our way back. You know, or we risk wandering off into the wilderness and perhaps just withering away and dying, or getting eaten by a predator, which is also something that's possibly on our horizon. You know, and so for me, like when you're lost, and what I did in that situation when I was lost is, well, I knew there was a river nearby, and so I knew that and with the river, there was a trail that crosses the river. So I knew if I could get to the river and go, you know, I knew that trail wasn't too far away. So if I could get to the river and, you know, travel 100 yards this way or 100 yards that way, that I should find the intersecting trail, and then from that trail I can find my spot. But I had to retrace my steps. You know, I had to stop trying to figure out, you know, I had to stop trying to find a way out like I knew I could figure out it. And I had to kind of admit that I was lost and turn around and go back from the way I came. So I had to stop continuing going off in this crazy direction. And I had to, you know, humble myself and be like, I'm lost. I messed up. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I need to stop, turn around, and go back to where I came from. And spiritually speaking, I think humanity could grow a lot from turning away from this sinful nature, this destructive death cult like nature, and come back towards life, come back towards love, you know. And by doing that, in the process, we will learn to find ourselves again, and we won't be so lost, we won't be so miserable, we won't be so full of, you know, fear and hate and anger and all this negativity and frustration. And, you know, starving kids will start to be fed, and people who are sick will start to find the remedies that they need, because we're going to be going back towards that which we came from, that which